What's good, fam? All right. Now, this one of them videos I've been saying I'm going to get to, but I promise you, I wasn't trying to hold off. I just wasn't sitting still, and this is basically me booking a load. Now, I don't know if I'm going to book a load right now, so this might end up being like a two-parter. Like, you might get two parts. Because normally after I drop off something, when I'm going to wherever the next closest city is and all that stuff, I'm normally driving and I'm yelling at my phone because, you know, these phones voice activated. Be Siri, refresh screen, or Siri, call this person, or Siri, send an email. So, yeah, I basically be talking to the phone while I'm driving. So it's hard to record it while I'm doing it. So now I'm sitting at the house. I already dropped the last load, as you know. So now we're sitting here. I already knew I wasn't going out today. I looked at the weather map. Remember, I told y'all a few videos back, I always check the weather around the United States to see what it looks like, to know, for one, where I'm not going. That's why we've been in local this week. Because that above that Mason-Dixon line, like the Kansas, the Oklahomas, the Missouris, the Kentucky, that snow was hitting them, and that all the way over to New Mexico, like trucks were sitting still. We knew we wasn't going up. We was only standing across I-10. But when I checked yesterday, I saw the weather coming in from Mexico, that rain and all that, and that bad weather, and then it's got snow in Dallas, and then you know, Dallas, San Antonio, Austin, Texas, that's my little triangle. I was not going nowhere. So I was like, we on chill, relax, regroup, and find a load for Friday. So I'm going to look now, but in order to do that, that's why I said it might be two parts. We first going to go over what I got the load board filtered to. If anybody's asking that's new to the channel, fam, that might as well go ahead and join. I use the DAT load board. So, of course, we in there, we logged in. I don't know if I'm going to try and show what I can. Because, you know, when you're booking these loads, some of them through emails and some of them through phone calls. So, get a new search going, normally from wherever you're at. Or, if you know you're going somewhere, like when I dropped in Laredo, I knew I was going to San Antonio. I already put San Antonio in, put like a 250-mile radius, because it has the radiuses on there. So, right now, if I show it to you, right now I got it set, if I can get it in the camera. Houston, Texas, 450-mile radius. Sorry if that came up, but that's what it said. But I'll give you what I got it filtered down to, because I already got it pre-filtered down to everything. So the first one is MV, which is moving van, and I'll explain all this after the fact. MV, which is moving van. SV, which is sprinter van. SB, which is straight box truck. V, which is van only. VW, van blanket wrap. VH, which is van hotshot. VL, which is van logistics. VF, which is van or flatbed. VR, which is van or reefer. VP, which is van pallet exchange. And VW, which is van with team. So I know we all are in these sprinter vans, cargo vans. I know these don't all say sprinter. We only got one that says sprinter van. The reason I do that is because this allows me to see all the different loads that the brokers put out there. Another reason is because sometimes brokers put stuff out there and they put it in the comments. Like they might put van, or they might put SB for straight box truck. But in the comments, they'll be like sprinter. They put that type of stuff in there. And there are times that they actually say no sprinter. They don't even want to deal with us. It's happened. And they put it in all bold letters too. Like, are you yelling at us? No sprinter? Like, what did we do to you? Either way, that's what I got it filtered down to. And so also on that, for the length, because it also gives you, let's see if I can get that in there. Right there, length and weight. Length 13, because my van goes to 13. I know I have the weight at 4,000. I don't try to go max weight. My max weight in that Ram is like 4,600 pounds. I put it at 4,000 just so I can see. Another reason I do that is because there are times where the brokers, when they put it out there, they might say 12 feet. But then it only ends up being a pallet. I think they do that, from my experience. They do that because they're trying to get you on that dedicated rate, but they don't want to pay you dedicated rate. So they say 12 feet, and then when you book the load, it's one pallet that's 4x4x4. And it's like, you just stopped me from getting other stuff. You learn that over time. That's why when those times I've told you, like, hey, I got a pallet, I'm going to see where I can find something else going in that direction. But the reason I put the 4,000 pounds is because they'll do that as well and make it look like you got this heavy load, and then it might say 3,500 or 3,000 or something that's in the low board, but then you go to pick it up and it's like 1,500. I just like to look at it so I can call and email and ask these things. So I put that out there. And then also you saw the box that said full/partial. You want to select both because sometimes the brokers will put full on there. Sometimes they'll be partial, but you got to remember we're in the Sprinter van. And I told you before that when y'all are wondering why it's not always the dollar plus a rate, everybody has this conception because it was put out there that we're expediters, which we are. But every load that you get is not going to be expedited loads. And if you're just waiting on the expedited load, you most likely won't get anything. So that's why I don't just say stick to expedited loads because you don't know when they're going to come. This other way, when you see me get those loads that are like 94 cents, 95 cents, 96 cents, that's those times that I use those filters that I already preset and I get loads that are probably meant for a box truck or a 53-foot dry van. That's what a van is, a dry van. I get those loads, those van hot shots. Sometimes they might want to throw it on a flatbed, but then they find out you're a Sprinter and you got it where you don't have to be tarped because normally when they say that flatbed, sometimes they'll be like tarps or no tarps. And they find out you're in a Sprinter van. They're like, oh yeah, we'll throw that in there. And that's those times you've seen where I had loads that looked like it was like some metal outside equipment or something. They normally would have put that on a flatbed and just tarped it. We were able to snag it. That's how we got it. So now with our filter set, save, ready to go, I got it booked out for today and tomorrow. Yes, I have it at 450, so I'm gonna drop that down to 350 because that goes back to the time wise. Remember, 450 miles. What I told you before is, even though it changes and fluctuates, every 200 miles, think 3 hours. So if I say 400 miles, I'm gonna say I'm gonna be driving for like 6 hours to go pick something up. Even though that's still fine because remember I told you my one tank of gas can go between 350 to 450 in mileage, depending on if it's flat terrain and all that other stuff. So I got it set. I had it set at 450, but I dropped it down to 350 because whatever I go get for Friday, I want to be able to go get it, come back to the house, relax, leave out Sunday or something like that to head that direction. So now when we search the loads, you're going to get a bunch of different loads, people on here. So I want you to look at it in this terms. Like there's certain ones that you just can go ahead and nix out the way. Like one is like the Global Trans. They deal with U-boxes. U-boxes, if you don't know, those are those U-Haul boxes. They go like 96 inches tall and all that. They wouldn't fit, but they're U-boxes. That's mainly what they consume. So I just automatically delete those, remove those off the timeline because remember, this is the time game. If stuff pops up, you want to be able to get it as fast as can. Get your email in or get your phone call in as fast as possible. So like Global Trans, they're one of those. They still deal strictly with U-boxes. Another one is Glittner. They do one that's like 1,500 pounds. I don't know what type of equipment it is, but they normally want either a flatbed or a 53-foot dry van. 1,500 pounds, like 10 feet. I don't know how tall or the dimensions. They never gave it to me, but that's what they want. So I just automatically remove those when I see 1,500. Not all of them, because every now and then they have the ones we possibly can take. Just the ones that say Glittner, 1,500 pounds. I don't even waste my time. Just get those out the way. Another one is Flock Freight. Flock Freight, yeah, they cool and all. The prices look amazing. They never have an option to email. They even say it in one of their things, and I'm gonna read it to you. I'm on a Flock Freight post, and it says, Flock Freight will not ask you to email to inquire on a posted load. You don't even get to email them, so you gotta call them. In my experience, I call and let the phone ring and ring and ring and ring. Nobody ever answers. So don't worry about Flock Freight for me. This is all I'm doing right now is I'm telling you what I do. I'm not saying this is by the Bible, the Holy Grail. Do what you want. This is just what I do, and that's what smooths out. So I see Flock Freight like right now at the top. I'm gonna just let you see it. If I can get it in that camera, get it. Flock Freight. Sit still. There we go. 1,300 going to Fort Worth. Fort Worth to Douglas, Georgia. $1,200, basically $1.30 a mile. I don't even waste my time calling them because I'm gonna lose time trying to find a load for me because it's gonna not answer. They don't answer for me at least. There's one on here, Stafford, Texas, Boise, Idaho. Can't take that one because they put it in the comments if it fits your dimensions. So for example, think about the wheelbase. The wheelbase, you gotta know all this stuff. So the door height of the van is 70. It's like 72, but I don't go for lows over 71 because in order to get to the 72, 73, I would have to unscrew that little catch at the top in the middle where the door catches. I would have to unscrew that, which I've seen some content creators do. Like, and it's amazing. I ain't mad at you. Get it how you get it. One of them is my boy Jay Rush. Shout out to Jay Rush. One time Jay Rush had to unscrew that middle piece to get the load in there. I'll do it if I had to, and I got there and it was a situation. But if I can prevent it, I'm gonna try and prevent it. So my height is 71. In between the wheelbase of the van is 56 inches. So obviously, you know, I got 13 feet. So we can go over. I normally say, because 120 is 10 feet. So I normally be like, all right, if it's 120, 130, we're good to go. But 56 is so it can slide between the wheelbase. So automatically the one I just told you that was going from Stafford, Texas to Boise, Idaho, I couldn't take because it was 66 inches in width. So I can't even fit that in there. One, I'm gonna tell you about that because remember, I'd be moving, fam. I'm sorry if I mess up, but I tried to get on the load board right before I made this video, and right after I looked at the first load and sent the email, I was like, I gotta start recording. I forgot I owed y'all this video, but it was the pickup, and let me go tell y'all exactly because I want you to understand the type of stuff you're gonna run across. The pickup was in Buda, Texas, which is right outside of San Antonio, and it was drop off in Humble, Texas. 190 miles. The problem with it is pick up tomorrow morning, and I was thinking in my head, hey, if I shot an email like with a Sprinter work, which it would have, it was 2 pallets, I would have been able to pick it up first thing in the morning, like 190 miles. Remember, 3 hours, 2 miles, for 200 miles. I was like, pick it up at 7. I get back between 10 and 11 back because it was coming all the way back to Humble, which is basically outside of Houston. I would have been back in Houston by 10, 11 o'clock and still could have found my pickup Friday, drop off Monday load. But when they replied back, they wanted it to be picked up on Friday and dropped off on Monday, 190 miles. And we're only going to pay $150. For one, I'm not holding nothing over the weekend for $150. They didn't even come up with a rate that was high enough to go from there to the place, even if they would have let me go straight. So remember, I tell you, be courteous in the emails, talk with, we're running a business here. Got to have some little etiquette. So I just replied back and let them know I will be unable to hold the freight over the weekend for that rate. But thank you for replying with the information. I always, whenever I send an email, even if it doesn't come back with the information I need, I always thank them for replying to me with the information. Because believe it or not, there are brokers out there that just won't reply back at all. You just won't even hear from them. So I always thank those individuals that do. The same way I told you in previous videos, if I make a phone call and the phone just rings and it gets to an answer machine, I tell them who I am, tell them what load I'm looking at, and then I tell them, hey, when you get a chance, if nobody takes the load, can you call me back and we can talk about the money and all that, the rate to get the load. So let's get in here and start back looking again. Now, after I filter through everything based off of all the different carrier types I told you, from van, the straight box truck, the flatbed and all that, we're left right now currently with 10 results. That's good. It sounds crazy because it's only 10, but it's good because I filtered it down so it updates because it refreshes as they do it. It allows me to be able to hit it real fast and not be scrolling and potentially missing the load because that's how fast they go, because you're not the only one on here looking for a load. Other thing I want you to do is time frames. That's part of that research I told you I was looking into. So here you go. So most brokers, from my experience, a majority of them are on like the East Coast. So when they wake up and get to going, 7 o'clock, say, for example, if they get to work at 7 or 8 o'clock, that means it's going to be an hour ahead of Central Time, and then 3 hours back if you go to Mountain West and all that. The more time you go back, say basically by the time you get all the way to the West Coast. And one way that I can help you remember this is one time Steve Harvey talked about the stock exchange. When the bell rings in New York for the stock prices to start jumping, say I forgot the time, I think it's 8 or 9 o'clock. Y'all tell me in the comments. If I'm on the West Coast and I'm going to think I'm finna sleep in and wait till 8 o'clock, the morning stock thing is already gone and happened, because by the time you wake up at 8 o'clock to get looking at it, they already gone to lunch. Same way it applies here. Remember, I told you we're going to bring all the business in together. So the same way that might be finances and stocks and all that, it still applies to transportation. Because if the times I've been in Phoenix and all that in California, if I would have decided to, because I stay at the hotel, if I would have started to sleep in and wake up at 7, 8 o'clock, I would miss all the lows because they're going to start posting them at like 5 o'clock in the morning in Los Angeles time, or 5 o'clock in the morning, or 6 o'clock in the morning Phoenix time. So you're starting to miss all the good lows. So that's why I was telling you about the time. So I say that because, fam, I know we all over the place. We got fam on the East Coast, the West Coast, Central, like everywhere. So keep that in mind when you're looking at this low board. And so with that in turn, when you think about it, got to factor in lunch, because what I've come to learn, it's like an hour and a half, 2 hour buffer. That's lunch from like 11 to 1 CST time. So, but I said that backwards, 10 to 12 CST time, 10 to 1 EST time. So that morning window is from like, if I stick with CST time, I'm going to just talk from the rest of the time in CST time, not to confuse anybody. Central Standard Time, basically Midwest. So from the times of 8 o'clock to roughly around about 11, 10:30, 11, that window, that's when they're pushing out all that morning work. Now, granted, nothing is definitive. So there are times when stuff comes out in between that from other brokers, other places, because brokers aren't just on one time zone. It's got brokers in Phoenix and all that stuff. Anyway, it's not definitive. So they're still coming. You still can refresh. I'm just talking about the majority. I talk in majority and minority. The majority of the lows are coming out in that CST time right there. And then it takes like a little pause. Some will be dropping here and there, but then it picks back up around 1:30 in the afternoon, and it goes to the end of the day. But when I say end of the day, don't think 4 or 5 o'clock. There are still brokers out there. The vast majority of the lows will start peeling off around 4 to 5 o'clock, but the mass majority, there are a couple of that'll still be stragglers that'll happen after 5 o'clock CST time. So we got the low board broke down. That's that part. Got your filters out the way. Time zones. I'm saying this out loud because I'm filtering it through my head, making sure I don't miss anything that I'm telling you all. Oh, also in the low board, there's this part right here. Let me get it up there. This right here. It's light. Focus in. See that right there? Equipment details with the check. That check mark with that next to factorable, that means on DAT, because remember I told you, DAT is like the bigger low board, like the one that's like used across the nation, however you want to say. Of course, there's other low boards, but that's like the big one. And that check mark means that OTR Solutions, which is who we're factored through, they are saying that anybody that has that check mark, which when you go to it, it's lighting, if I can get it in there. Sorry if this isn't going the way I planned, guys. That bright light, that blue check mark, if you can see it, that blue check mark is saying that that is a reputable broker through OTR Solutions. They've been verified. They're good with the money, all that stuff. Not saying that ones that don't have the blue check mark next to it aren't. It's just they have to do trial runs or do certain things to say that we're good to go with OTR Solutions. But I keep it at the blue check mark because I'm like, y'all, I don't have time to be playing with my money. Once I drop this load, I want to get paid. Give me the moolah. Remember, I told you the time frame. Beat the cutoff time, get it the next day. You miss the cutoff time and do it after that. It's not the next day, it's the following day. So you want to make sure you have those blue check marks. Now, to save time on this video, I said I was going to do 2 parts. So I'm going to separate these right here. I'm going to give y'all this one, the first one. That's what I have the low board and DAT filter down to based off location. So we'll stick with that for this video. We'll stick with that. I'll put in another video of me actually finding the lows. So that'll help separate so we can make one video, because the fam, y'all always asking what low board, what we do. That right there give you this one video to center in on how to find lows on the DAT low board. So we're going to put that one and leave that one just like that. We're not going to add no more. And in another video, whenever I'm booking a load, then y'all can see me go through with the phone calls, the emails, and I can walk y'all through like, hey, I'm emailing this person, or hey, I'm calling this person. And the reason I say I'm going to do it that way, because yes, we look good when we out there dropping lows every day. But to be honest, we all transparent over here. Sometimes that can be 30 minutes. I find it, and just like that, I'm in there. But there's time I sat for hours just calling, emailing. And I'm not going to make y'all do that with me on this video. So we're going to wrap that video right there and just say, this is how we do the filters and how we navigate and all that great, amazing stuff through the DAT load board. So yeah, DAT load board, fam. I promise you, we gonna get through this together. Cause hey, this the 100K year. I gotta do what I can to help you get to it. If it helps, it helps. But yeah, fam, that's it for this one. I'll pick y'all up when I start searching for some loads, so y'all can hear the whole process and I can read out the courteous emails and professional emails as we do it. You can hear the conversations that are had when talking to different brokers. Cause hey, it's all about being professional. It's your business. We got to run it right way. But yeah, fam, I'm gonna let you go. I ain't gonna hold you up too longer. As always, man, y'all go. Hopefully this information helps increase you grabbing that bag. But you know, as always, until the next video, fam, y'all stay blessed.